Hello everyone, welcome to Conjunctions in Astrology Ketu, or the south node of the moon in conjunction with Venus in your chart. If you have this, I'm going to show you what this means for your destiny, including the sign and the house positions. By the way, because I'm often asked, yes, you can read this also in your D9 or Navamsa chart. So, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Let's begin. First of all, everyone, how do we judge a conjunction in astrology? You may think you have a conjunction of the south node, Ketu, and Venus, but you may not have. A conjunction in the ancient Vedic system is about planets being in the same sign together, because a sign equals a house. So, if two or more planets are in the same sign, no matter how far apart they are by degree, they are in conjunction. But if one planet is 29 degrees of one sign, let's say, and the other planet at 0 of the next sign, that's not a conjunction, even though they are only 1 degree apart in space, because they are in different signs, therefore different houses, with a completely different lord. Another point to consider is the nakshatra. If planets are in a different nakshatra but in the same sign, are they still forming conjunction? Most definitely they are, because the nakshatra just gives them an internal experience, but they're still in the same sign, they're still sharing the experience of that house, and they are still in a conjunction. If you have Ketu, the south node, and Venus then in the same sidereal sign, you have a conjunction of the planets. Let's consider first of all the energies involved. And who then is Ketu? Ketu is the south node of the moon, a disembodied or shadow planet. He is actually the bottom half or the body form of Swabhanu, the demon who was decapitated by Vishnu. The head is Rahu and the body is Ketu. But unlike Rahu, the head of the snake, who is the cause of our rebirth, Ketu is the cause of moksha. He takes us out of this material world. He gives us liberation. This means that metaphysically speaking, Ketu is actually walking in the opposite direction to all the other grahas, because they can keep us immersed in this material world. Even Guru Jupiter can make us proud of our knowledge, etc., etc. But for Ketu, he just will not give you anything but the truth of the situation. Ketu wipes away the scales of illusion from your eyes. He helps you to see this Maya for actually what it is. He therefore breaks the bonds of material desire. So for those who are spiritually inclined and truly desire liberation, Ketu is the greatest friend. But for those who are materially entangled, he is acting in a very malefic way. He will cause all sorts of loss, disillusion, and trouble in your life because of necessity. He does not want to get you more entangled with your desires. And who then is Venus? Venus is known as Sukra in the Vedic system. He gives us all the enjoyments, luxuries of life, the pleasures of life, in fact. He brings clothes, ornaments, the arts, beauty, entertainment, music, dance, singing, etc. He represents, obviously, our deep bonds, relationships, because his real purpose is reproduction, and he represents semen. In a male chart, he shows the wife, but for all charts, he shows definitely how we use wealth in our life and how we can buy and utilize the luxuries of life. So when you have Ketu with Venus in your chart, you can see clearly there is a great discrepancy between the energy. Ketu, of course, wants to take you out of this world, wants to destroy this material illusion in your mind. But Venus is supporting the illusion. Venus wants you to enjoy material existence. Ketu, of course, is the fire element, Agni Tattva, and Venus is Jala Tattva, water. So when water gets together with fire, the water is going to suffer. The water is going to be evaporated. On a deeper level, of course, Ketu will always represent what we've done before, where the flag has been, what we've accomplished past life. Venus, close to Ketu, shows that we have really overindulged in these Venetian pleasures. We've certainly had the money and the luxury and the enjoyments of life, relationships, sexual relationships, etc. What they were and how they went for you, you see by the aspects and the sign. But what's happening now is that something around Venus has to be transformed. You see, Ketu rules the sign of Scorpio. He rules transformation. Also the sign of Pisces, by the way. A dual ownership there, renunciation. So what's happening is, I've seen this so many times, people who have Ketu with Venus, it's hard to enjoy the Venus factors of life. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have these things in your life. You could be a billionaire by many other karmas in your chart. But what it means is that you can't squeeze any more pleasure out of these things than you already have. It's really like you've maxed out on the Venus pleasures past life. You see through them now. Ketu gives you the vision to see superficiality around these Venus factors, the complete temporary nature of them. So basically, I've seen many charts like this with this Ketu Venus, where you could have a really good job, but you don't bother with all these fashionable clothes. You just like to hang around in basic, cheap even, jeans and t-shirts, even though you could afford so much more. I've seen one chart where there's a lady had inherited beautiful jewels, but she had Ketu Venus and she just didn't want to be bothered with them. They were just locked away in a drawer. The same thing goes for entertainment, parties, theatre, dance, all of these things. You may indulge in these things, particularly when you are young, if you have the aspect, but eventually they will pall. Very quickly, you just don't find enjoyment. Depending on the other planets with this conjunction or aspecting, you may really push yourself away from social life at some point in this existence. This doesn't mean that you are devoid of pleasures in your life, however, because Venus is with Ketu in your chart. The Ketu factors give you pleasure. Venus indicates what we enjoy. So you enjoy the Scorpionic and Pisces factors, as I've just described. You will love everything to do with mysticism, occult knowledge, secret knowledge, astrology, obviously, but everything else to do with the deep metaphysical truths of life. Now, what about relationships? Venus, of course, wants to take you into deep, intimate bonds, and Ketu won't prevent that happening. But what will happen, I've seen very often, are very karmic ties to other people. These can be good and these can be terribly challenging. Sometimes you see a lifelong bond with just one person with this Ketu Venus, which can be either good or bad depending on the other factors, but it's that simple. It's finishing off past life karma relationship-wise with one particular soul. It's probably much more common, though, to see relationship difficulties, such as difficulty finding a partner, maintaining the relationship, or even when you do find a really suitable partner, becoming easily dissatisfied. Many factors. It can be sexual dissatisfaction, it can be emotional, it could be anything, but there's a real difficulty feeling that you are happy in the relationship. It's mainly coming because this Venus Ketu gives you this desire for perfection. You're looking to what you've had before and you can't get anything which is coming close to that. So there's always a feeling of something being lacking. You find circumstances developing like a need for distance. You need it, the partner needs it. A need for separation, time apart. Sometimes space is a big thing. Having your own personal space in a relationship becomes important. There can be deep karmas of betrayal and loss in some cases, but not all. Most important factor, though, is there is a way to deal with this karmic dissatisfaction in relationships, and this is it. Ketu is a factor that represents the spiritual world, surrender to God and giving up material enjoyments. Now, you don't have to do that, but what you do have to do is give up your huge efforts in relationships to manipulate them, to make them work. You have to just surrender everything to God. If you do that, non-resistance, basically, you may have heard of that term, you will find that relationship situations just smooth out really easily. You simply have to surrender your relationship to God. If you're searching for a relationship, let God sort it out for you. Stop looking. Literally, stop trying. Stop making this big effort. And when you do that, when you just go with the spiritual path, you will find that the right partner who is meant to be with you comes to you without any effort on your part. Another reason why it's quite important to do this, if you can, is that Venus Ketu can represent obsessional tendencies, possessiveness, etc. in relationships, and these can never be helpful. Of course, in some cases, Venus Ketu brings a very spiritual relationship. You cannot be happy really with a partner in any case unless they share your spiritual beliefs. You have to share a spiritual path in some respect with your partner in life. Of course, many people give up partnerships altogether with this Venus Ketu because that is their path in this life. One thing that's sure for everybody though, when Venus is with Ketu, you have a need to serve others, to give to others, to help others. And these karmas must be fulfilled. Giving in charity, being kind, giving generously to help those in need, particularly vulnerable people, is a natural inclination with this Venus Ketu. And you definitely have to go along with this. Let's look at the sign placements now, starting with the fire sign. If you have Ketu and Venus in Aries, Leo and Sagittarius, it's a very strong placement indeed. Primarily, this is a very passionate sign for Venus to be in, and the fire nature of Ketu won't completely get rid of that. So some very passionate and even obsessive relationship situations can develop. But here's the thing, Ketu is so strong in all of these signs. So Ketu will inevitably win in this situation. What this means is that Venus won't be deluded. Venus will see through many situations relationship-wise, even gain wisdom and understanding from your relationships with others. You might even gain materially from spiritual pursuits such as astrology, occult knowledge, etc., counseling, mediating, and these skills are coming to you from past life situation. When you have the combination in the earth signs of Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, it's the complete opposite. Ketu is weakened in these signs and therefore Venus is deluded a little. So you get yourself into some very difficult, sticky situations in relationships where you do not read other people correctly. It's especially true in Libra, funnily enough, because Venus is so strong that you attract so many people to you. You're always attracting relationships to you, potential partners, new friendships. You're such a sociable person. But be aware that you are not reading situations always correctly. More difficulties occur when you have Ketu Venus in the earth signs, that is in Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn. These signs are seeking security, monetary gain, and this is such a need for them. But Ketu is weak and won't be able to give you that because you've had that past life. So watch out for being deluded by people who seem to offer you more than what they actually can. Be completely honest, open in personal relationships because it can turn very nasty if you're not. But otherwise, it can actually give stable, long-lasting relationships, sometimes from very strong karmic past life situations. In the water signs of Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces, this combination can give some really good benefits, particularly spiritually. Such wisdom, such knowledge, such intuition. You can get rid of so many negative karmas coming with you many lives through your spiritual practice in this life. That is particularly true of Pisces, where Venus is exalted. In Scorpio, there can be an obsessiveness and a tendency to cling onto relationships, become extremely possessive. It's all coming from past life situations. But you can gain the wisdom to cut through this and make tremendous personal growth in this lifetime. And in Cancer, there can be situations with the mother, with the home life, that are really trying. There can be loss involved. But you are a very caring and nurturing person, and giving out of this nurturing nature to others is of necessity in this life. Next, the house positions. And by the way, there's only one house where actually Venus and Ketu are truly happy. Maybe you can guess which one it is. Let's begin. When this conjunction happens in the Kendra, in the 1, 4, 7, 10 houses, it's quite sharp. There's quite a churning taking place in your mind, relationships, and your whole social world. And this is an evolutionary process. So you must check the link below to see the meaning of the Rahu-Ketu axis, because this is a Sarpadosh, as opposite Ketu will be Rahu. In the first house, many benefits to your health, to your looks, to your popularity even may be there according to the sign, of course, and other planets because you have Venus in this first house. But Ketu takes you away from utilizing it. You may be very good looking, but you can't use it for any good. You may be popular, but it doesn't always get you anywhere. It's all about going with those deep spiritual karmas in this life, despite those popularity and other superficial benefits which you may get. Same with the 10th house Venus Ketu, much popularity, much socializing within the workplace. Special friendships are formed, but there is loss as well. And there's a sense of not really getting your inner needs met. You need a job which fulfills your need to give to society. That's essential. Of all the Kendra, probably Venus and Ketu in the 4th is the best because Venus is so happy in this house and you can get luxury vehicles, so much according to sign and aspects. But Ketu demands one thing, that you share what you have. If you keep it all for yourself, the negative karmas will come out. Venus Ketu 7th house can be tricky. You see, Venus makes you popular in relationships. You attract people to you, just like first house Venus, and you compromise all over the place to make relationships work. You're skilled at them because of past life skill. But here's the thing, at some point you will not find the satisfaction you want. It's important that you don't give all of your energy into relationships and leave nothing else left for anything else in your life. But business affairs, self-employment can go very well with this Venus Ketu, particularly when you have aspect of Jupiter to the house. Venus Ketu 2nd house can actually help your financial situation, helping you to build strong resources financially behind you without even having to try very hard. You can get very lucky business breaks with this. But ultimately, unless there are very strong supporting aspects, at some time Ketu kicks in because you don't really pay enough attention to it. So sudden losses unexpectedly can also occur financially. Venus and Ketu in both the 3rd and 6th house has a similar impact. These are houses of conflict, agitation, legal factors, 6th house. So you easily get yourself into a lot of conflict with other people unnecessarily. You don't particularly want it, but you seem to attract it. It's past life karma. Conflicts with your siblings, with your neighbors, even 3rd house, with your co-workers, 6th house. Watch for legal aspects in both houses. You can have long drawn out disputes over virtually nothing that never seem to resolve. In both the 5th and the 9th house, trine houses, Ketu and Venus can aid education, giving you a sociable nature, learning well in your friendship groups, getting support of others, and particularly making good friendships in these settings. You may meet romantic partner also in educational setting, both 5th and 9th house. But if there is ill aspect by malefics and if it is not placed well by sign, there can be difficulty with this relationship. You can have difficult situations with gurus, teachers, particularly 9th house, and some obstacles with children, sometimes 5th house, particularly maybe with a daughter. 5th house Venus Ketu can also lead to a desire to get speculative gain. Now, so much else you have to see. 2nd house Lord, supporting aspects, etc. 5th house Lord well placed. But one thing for sure, Ketu will take away some of this over time, so you cannot rely on these sources of income. 11th house Venus in Ketu, very similar to the 5th house. You can be quite popular in your social circles. You can have a wide range of friends, maybe in educational settings also, network groups, etc. And you can be very, very popular in your workplace as well. Make many good friends there. But Ketu will ultimately make you dissatisfied with your goals in life, with your higher purpose in life. It has to have something more than just humanitarian social factors. It has to be leading you on some spiritual path. Same as the 5th house. Watch out for financial loss in speculation. Now the last two houses, the Dustana houses, 8 and 12. In both of these, Venus and Ketu will give you occult wisdom, knowledge, religious insight, great ability to research and enjoy studying occult metaphysical subjects like astrology. But in the 8th house, there can be family issues, loss financially if there is ill aspect, particularly to the house, wills, legacies, contention. in-law problems, problems with spousal finance. All of these things can become very fraught unless there is a favorable aspect of Jupiter. And the 12th house, did you guess it? Yes, this is the best placement of all the houses where both Venus will thrive and Ketu will, because this is the 12th house relating to Pisces, sign of the fishes, where Venus is naturally happy. Venus is happy in this 12th house. It's a house of bed pleasures. It's a house of marriage, intimacy within marriage. Ketu is there. Will this prevent intimacy becoming satisfactory? Not always. Sometimes, if it's well placed by sign, and especially if it has a good aspect of Jupiter, soulmate relationship can be there. But it's a spiritual factor too. It's not about sensual enjoyment all the time. It's about a deep spiritual connection. In addition, your compassionate nature inherent in a Venus-Ketu conjunction is expanded in this 12th house. You can make very good karmas working for the good of humanity, particularly in large institutions maybe, such as hospitals and prisons, etc. On your screen right now, check out the karmas of your Rahu Ketu house positions and also Venus karmas by sign. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to sub below. Goodbye for now and God bless everyone.